Hello, everyone. Welcome to the FAA podcast. Sorry about not having a show yesterday. We got sidetracked by some stuff, but show today, just me. Happy Thanksgiving to everyone. I'll probably say that again on Football Friday, but got the brown background for Thanksgiving. Friday, I'll be wearing our merch, our new Thanksgiving look. Check that out on our shop. Just click the shop button on the top right corner of our website there, and you can get that. But I'm gonna go over the weekend in football, college, NFL. Scary Saturday. I've heard of scary Sunday, Sunday scaries. I've never heard of Saturday scaries, but that was what happened to the top 5 teams in the country. One of them going down there. And we have the semifinalists for the 2023 Hall of Fame class in the NFL. We'll get to that as well as all the key injuries and transactions there in the league. But Friday we had San Diego State beating New Mexico 34-10. Jalen Maiden for the Aztecs 15-25, 60% completion, 280 yards, 2 touchdowns and a pick. New Mexico quarterback CJ Montez, 15-23, 65.2%, 112 yards a pick, 7 carries, 16 yards, and a touchdown. The rushing attack for the Aztecs was prevalent in this game. Keenan Kristen, nice game for him, 10 carries, 102 yards, and a touchdown. And then leading receiver on the night was San Diego State wide receiver Mekhi Shaw. 6 catches, 120 yards, and 2 touchdowns there. Defensively, I am going to go with San Diego State defensive lineman Justice Tavai. Not sure if he's Jelani's brother or not, but 5 tackles, 2 solos, 1 sack, 2.5 tackles for loss. San Diego State covered minus 14.5 over 36. Saturday, early game, Navy upsetting number 20 UCF in the bounce house, 17-14. The midshipmen getting it done, passing just once. Xavier Arline did not complete that ball there, 0 for 1, but he did carry it 18 times for 24 yards and a touchdown rush there. Mikey Keene replaced John Rice Plumlee after he got benched. Keene going 8 of 15, 53.3%, 123 yards, a touchdown, and a fumble. Plumlee in his time during the game, 11 of 18, 61.1%, 107 yards, and an interception. Navy fullback Daba Fofana, again, I love that name. He led the game in rushing, 20 carries, 114 yards. Leading the game in receiving here, UCF wide receiver Javon Baker, 6 receptions, 101 yards, and a touchdown. Again, UCF, the only team out of the 2 to have receiving yards. Defensively, a lot of good performances, but how about Navy linebacker John Marshall? 10 tackles, 7 of them solos, 4 sacks, and 4 tackles for loss. Monster of a game for Mr. Marshall and the midshipmen. Navy plus 15.5. Underdogs win outright, under 53 easily. Number 3, Michigan. A close one over Illinois, 19-17. 4 field goals by kicker Jake Moody on the day for the Wolverines. J.J. McCarthy, 18 of 34, 52.9%, 208 yards, 7 carries, 18 yards. So uninspiring performance there. And then Illinois quarterback Tommy DeVito, 21 of 30, 70% completion, 178 yards. The real difference was the rushing game for both teams. Chase Brown for Illinois back to his old self after only having 98 yards last week. 29 carries, 140 yards, 2 touchdowns, 3 catches for 14 yards, kept the Illini in the game all day. Unfortunately, Michigan running back Blake Corum, Heisman candidate, got injured in this game. Don't know what his status is for Saturday against Ohio State, but we'll have to keep that in mind when we talk about that game on Friday. 18 carries, 108 yards, a touchdown, a fumble. That happened on the injury play there, and then 2 catches for 39 yards. Illinois wide receiver Casey Washington led the game in receiving, 6 catches, 53 yards. And defensively, I'm going to go with Illinois defensive back Devin Witherspoon, 5 tackles, 3 solos, 1.5 tackles for loss, and 2 pass deflections. Illinois plus 17 covered easily, under 41.5. Number 4, TCU also with the scare, walking it off on the game-winning field goal there, 29-28 over Baylor in Waco. Max Duggan, 24-35, 68.6%, 327 yards, a touchdown, and a pick. 8 carries, 50 yards, and a rushing touchdown as well. Baylor quarterback Blake Shapen, 21-30, 70% completion, 269 yards, 1 touchdown, and a pick. 7 carries for 20 yards. Leading rusher in this game was Baylor's running back Craig Squirrel Williams, 19 carries, 112 yards, also added 3 catches for 5 yards. Baylor ran the ball very effectively. Richard Reese and Quaylen Jones also scoring touchdowns for the Bears on the day. Leading receiver in this game, we had 200-yard guys. Baylor wide receiver Monterey Brown, 6 receptions, 123 yards, and TCU's wide receiver Tay Barber, 5 catches, 108 yards. Baylor tight end Kelsey Johnson, big factor on the Bears almost upsetting TCU, scoring twice, 3 catches, 30 yards, and a receiving touchdown, and then he had a 2-yard rushing touchdown as well. Defensively, I think I'm going to go with TCU linebacker Johnny Hodges, 7 tackles, 4 solos, a half a sack, 1.5 tackles for loss. Baylor covered +2, so close one there, under 58 by 1. Number 8, Alabama, nice 34-0 shutout of FCS Austin Peay. Bryce Young, 18-24, 75%, 221 yards, 2 touchdowns. Austin Peay quarterback Mike DeLello, 20 of 32, 62.5%, 147 yards, 2 picks, and a fumble. We also had 2 other quarterbacks for Alabama play. Jalen Milroe, 2 of 4, 50%, 23 yards a pick, 2 carries for 19 yards. And then Ty Simpson, 2 of 2 for 20 yards. Alabama running back Jace McClellan was a monster on the day. 17 carries, 156 yards, 2 touchdowns there. Also having a great day, Alabama wide receiver Jermaine Burton, 7 receptions, 128 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Defensively, I'm going to go with Austin Peay's defensive back Demetrius Ford, 6 tackles, 5 solos, 1 sack, 1 tackle for loss, and a pass deflection. Also want to shout out Austin Peay wide receiver Dre McCray, 12 receptions on the day for 92 yards. Austin Peay covered +44.5, under 59 easily. Number 19, Florida State crushing Louisiana, 49-17. The Raging Cajuns played quarterback Chandler Fields in this one, 19 of 36, 52.8%, 159 yards, 1 touchdown, and a rushing touchdown as well. Florida State played 2 quarterbacks, Jordan Travis, their normal starter, 9 of 14, 64.3%, 112 yards, a touchdown, 5 carries, 38 yards, and 2 rushing touchdowns on the day. FSU also had quarterback AJ Duffy, 1 of 4, 25%, 16 yards, and his 1 completion was a touchdown. Florida State running back Trey Benson led the game in rushing, 16 carries, 80 yards, a touchdown, and 1 catch for 1 yard. Florida State running back Trayshawn Ward, also nice day for him, 4 carries, 37 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 1 7-yard reception there. Louisiana wide receiver Michael Jefferson led the game in receiving, 6 catches, 60 yards, and a touchdown. Defensively, I have to go with Florida State linebacker DJ Lundy, 6 tackles, 4 solos, 1.5 sacks, 1.5 tackles for loss, and 1 pass deflection. Florida State covered -25 over 52.5. Virginia Tech giving Liberty its 2nd straight loss. Great win for head coach Brent Pry there, former Penn State defensive coordinator last year. 23-22 over Liberty, though. Grant Wells, 14 of 20, 70%, 148 yards for the Hokies. Liberty played 2 quarterbacks, Caden Salter, 12 of 18, 66.7%, 119 yards, 10 carries, 23 yards, and a fumble. Jonathan Bennett, 8 of 15, 53.3%, 98 yards, 9 carries, 20 yards, a touchdown, and a fumble. So neither very effective there for the Flames. Virginia Tech running back Jalen Holston, great day for him on the ground, 26 carries, 99 yards, 3 rushing touchdowns there, 2 receptions for 5 yards. Also have to mention Liberty running back Shedro Lewis, 9 carries, 64 yards on the ground, 1 6-yard reception, and a 97-yard kick return touchdown as well. Liberty wide receiver Noah Frith led the game in receiving, 4 catches, 74 yards. And a whole host of defensive performances here. I have to go with Virginia Tech defensive lineman Taiwan Garba there. 6 tackles, 3 solos, 2 sacks, 3 tackles for loss, and a QB hurry. Virginia Tech plus 10.5, under 46.5 by 1.5. Great game here as well. Pitt beating Duke 28-26. Duke quarterback Riley Leonard, 24 of 45, 53.3%, 290 yards, 3 touchdowns, and a rushing touchdown. So pretty good day for him other than the completion percentage. Keaton Slovis for Pitt there, 15 of 32, 46.9%, 190 yards, a touchdown, 2 picks. So unlike Leonard, not a great day for Slovis, but he had help because my guy, Pitt running back Israel Abanaconda, 17 carries, 113 yards, and a touchdown. Also had 2 catches for 21 yards. Duke wide receiver Jordan Moore led the game in receiving, massive game for him. 14 receptions, 199 yards of Leonard's 290 there. 1 touchdown on the day for him as well. Defensively, have to go with Pitt defensive back Brandon Hill, 8 tackles, 3 solos, 1 pass deflection, and a 30-yard fumble return for a touchdown was a key in the Panthers' win in this game. Duke covered, though, plus 6.5 over 49. UTSA gets the 9-2. The Roadrunners annihilating Rice 41-7 in Texas there. Rice, there was 5 different quarterbacks playing in this one. 2 for UTSA, 3 for Rice. Rice quarterback AJ Padgett, 7 of 18, 38.9%, 110 yards, a touchdown. UTSA quarterback Frank Harris ran all over the Owls defense, 11 of 14 passing, 78.6%, 103 yards, 2 touchdowns and a pick. Not the greatest numbers, but then you look at his rushing statistics, 7 carries, 124 yards, 3 rushing touchdowns for him, and also a fumble. So got to quell the turnovers there, Frank. But other than that, 5 total touchdowns on the day for Harris, 127 total yards there, 227 total yards. Rice quarterback Shaki Etrache, 9 of 19, 47.4%, 89 yards and a pick. UTSA quarterback Eddie Lee Marburger, 4 of 8, 50%, 29 yards. And then finally, Rice quarterback Wiley Green, 4 of 5, 80%, 26 yards and a fumble. UTSA running back Brendan Brady led the ball carriers on the day in rushing, 6 carries, 67 yards. Rice wide receiver Bradley Rosner led the game in receiving, though, 4 catches, 73 yards, and a touchdown. Defensively, I'm going to go with UTSA safety Clifford Chapman, 4 tackles, 1 solo, 2 pass deflections, and a pick. UTSA covered easily, minus 14, under 56. Number 15, Kansas State winning over West Virginia, 48-31. Will Howard had a great day, 19 of 27, 70.4%, 294 yards, 2 touchdowns, a pick, and a rushing touchdown. West Virginia started quarterback Garrett Green here, 15 of 27, 55.6%, 204 yards, 3 touchdowns, 2 picks, 12 carries, 17 yards, and a rushing touchdown as well. So 4 total touchdowns on the day. Garrett Green kept the Mountaineers in it most of the day there. Kansas State running back DJ Giddens led the game in rushing, 12 carries, 78 yards, and a touchdown. Kansas State wide receiver Malik Knowles led the game in receiving here, 6 receptions, 111 yards, and a touchdown. Also with a 100-yard receiving day here. What a day for West Virginia wide receiver Sam James. 3 receptions, 102 yards, and all 3 of his receptions ended in touchdowns because he scored 3 times on the day. Also completed a pass for 12 yards. Defensively, three guys I want to note here. Kansas State defensive end Brendan Mott, 8 tackles, 5 solos, 3 sacks, 3 tackles for loss. And then 2 defensive touchdown guys here, pick sixes. West Virginia's safety Malachi Ruffin, 4 tackles, 2 solos, and a 43-yard pick six. And Kansas State's safety Sincere Mason, 3 tackles, 1 solo, 37-yard pick six as well. Great defense in an otherwise 79-point game. Kansas State covered -8 over 54.5 easily. Like I said, 79 in that one. Great American Conference matchup, but not a great end here. Houston blowing the brakes off of East Carolina, 42-3. Clayton Tune, what a day, 32 of 44, 72.7%, 435 yards, 4 touchdowns, and a pick, 6 carries for 43 yards also. Holton Ahlers and Mason Garcia, the quarterbacks for the Pirates, struggled. 15 of 30 for Ahlers, 50%, 182 yards. And then Garcia there, 2 of 5, 40%, 15 yards. ECU, though, did get a bright spot from running back Keaton Mitchell, led the game in rushing, 14 carries, 128 yards, 2 catches for 8 yards as well. Leading receiver on the day, Houston wide receiver Nathaniel Dell, 9 receptions, 176 yards, a touchdown. Houston also had another 100-yard receiver. That was Matthew Golden, 8 receptions, 127 yards, and 2 touchdowns there. Defensively, I'm going to go with Houston defensive lineman DeAnthony Jones, 2 tackles, both of them solos, 1 sack, 2 tackles for loss. Houston +6, under 66.5. Number 23, Oregon State getting it done against Arizona State, 31-7. Oregon State, Ben Branson, 15 of 21, 71.4%, 188 yards, a touchdown, 9 carries, 36 yards, and a rushing score as well. Arizona State quarterbacks Trenton Bourget, 20 of 32, 62.5%, 122 yards, 8 carries for 26 yards. Oregon State also played Tristan Gebbia at quarterback, 3 of 3 for 33 yards. They got a lot of help from running back Damian Martinez. Great night for him, 22 carries, 138 yards, 2 touchdowns there. Arizona State, the Sun Devils had their own 100-yard back as Xavier Valade, my guy, I love him, coming from Wyoming. 13 carries, 109 yards, a touchdown, 3 catches for 8 yards for that Sun Devil there. Oregon State tight end Jack Veiling led the game in receiving, 3 catches, 74 yards, and a touchdown. Defensively, I'm going to go with Arizona State defensive lineman Omar Norman Lott. 2 tackles, both of them solos, 1 sack, 1 tackle for loss, and a pass deflection. Oregon State cover -7, under 53.5. Number 18, Notre Dame, 44-0. Shut out of Boston College. Drew Pine, 13 of 25, 156 yards, 1 touchdown. The Eagles quarterback Emmett Moorhead, 9 of 22, 40.9%, 117 yards, 3 picks, 2 fumbles. Not a great day after their upset at NC State last weekend. Emmett Moorhead really struggling, 5 turnovers in this one. Logan Diggs for the Irish here, 15 carries, 122 yards, a touchdown, 1 reception for 28 yards. Their other running back also had a great day. My guy, Audric Estime, 11 carries, 71 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Notre Dame tight end Michael Mayer led the game in receiving, 5 catches, 64 yards. And defensively, got to go with Notre Dame corner Benjamin Morrison. Mentioned Moorhead for BC through 3 picks. Well, they all went to Benjamin Morrison as he tacked on 1 tackle, and it was a solo tackle to go along with those 3 interceptions. Notre Dame covered -20 over 42 by themselves. Go Dogs, number 1, Georgia stays undefeated, 16-6 over Kentucky. Again, the top 5 teams in the country struggled. Wasn't a surprise to see Georgia struggle on the road in Lexington. Will Levis for Kentucky, 20 of 31, 64.5%, 206 yards, 1 touchdown, a pick, 5 carries for 26 yards. Stetson Bennett for the Dogs, 13 of 19, 68.4%, 116 yards, a pick, 5 carries, 25 yards. Very similar stat lines there for the 2 quarterbacks. However, Georgia's running back Kenny McIntosh was the difference in this one. 19 carries, 143 yards, a touchdown, 2 catches for 19 yards. Kentucky wide receiver Barian Brown, what a day for him. 10 receptions, 145 yards, and a touchdown. Defensively, got to go with Georgia defensive back Kamari Lassiter. 2 tackles, both of them solos, 2 tackles for loss, and 1 pass deflection. Kentucky covered easily, plus 22.5, under 47.5. Number 2, Ohio State struggling as well, 43-30 over Maryland in College Park, Maryland. Talia Tagovailoa, 26 of 36, 72.2%, 293 yards, 2 touchdowns, 10 carries, 12 yards, 1 touchdown, and a fumble. CJ Stroud for the Buckeyes, 18 of 30, 60%, 241 yards, and a touchdown. The difference in this one, though, again, was a running back. Ohio State running back Dallin Hayden, 27 carries, 146 yards, 3 rushing touchdowns here, 2 catches for 10 yards. Ohio State wide receiver Emeka Egbuka, leading receiver here, 6 catches, 82 yards on the day. And defensively, gotta go with Ohio State defensive end Zach Harrison, 5 tackles, 2 solos, 2 sacks, 2.5 tackles for loss, had the game-winning strip sack, forced fumble of Tagovailoa that led to linebacker Steel Chambers, who had 4 tackles, 2 solos, and a 1-yard fumble return for a touchdown. Maryland covered, though, plus 26 over 62.5, 73 in that one. Number 9, Clemson crushing Miami 40-10. DJ Uiagalelei, 22 of 34, 64.7%, 227 yards, 2 touchdowns, a pick, 17 carries, 89 yards, a touchdown, and a fumble. Still, DJU having the issues with the turnovers, even though they blew them out by 30. That was, the Clemson defense a lot, but the 2 turnovers there again for DJ. Got to clean that up. Miami, they played 2 quarterbacks. Ja'Carry Brown, 6 of 13, 46.2%, 53 yards a pick, 10 carries, 22 yards. And then Jake Garcia came in for the Canes, 3 of 5, 60%, 15 yards, a touchdown, and a fumble. Cade Klubnik came in for Clemson late, 2 of 2, 13 yards, 2 carries for 20 yards. Clemson running back Will Shipley led the game in rushing here, 17 carries, 61 yards, 1 touchdown, 3 carries, 3 receptions for 14 yards. That's leading the game in rushing outside of DJ. Leading the game in receiving, Clemson tight end Jake Brittingstool, 3 receptions for 57 yards. And then defensively, got to go with Miami defensive lineman Akeem Mesidor, 5 tackles, 4 solos, 2 sacks, 2 tackles for loss, and a QB hurry. Clemson covered minus 19, over 47.5. Number 11, Penn State rolling Rutgers 55-10. Quarterback Sean Clifford, 17 of 26, 65.4%, 157 yards, a touchdown, 7 carries, 35 yards, and a touchdown on the ground as well. Penn State played quarterback Drew Aller late, 5 of 10, 50%, 42 yards, 6 carries, 27 yards, and a rushing touchdown. Rutgers played 2 quarterbacks as well. Gavin Wimsatt, 10 of 29, 34.5%, 122 yards, 1 touchdown, a pick, and a fumble. And then Evan Simon came in. He went 5 of 5 for 13 yards. Penn State running back Katron Allen led the game in rushing. Great day for him. 11 carries, 117 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 receptions for 10 yards. Also at the mention his running mate, Nicholas Singleton, there in the Penn State backfield, 9 carries, 62 yards, and a fumble. Had 1 5-yard reception and a 100-yard kick return touchdown as well, a la Saquon Barkley. Rutgers wide receiver Sean Ryan led the game in receiving, 2 catches for 76 yards. A lot of defensive performances here. Penn State scored 2 defensive touchdowns here in this game. Penn State linebacker Kobe King getting one of them, 6 tackles, 2 solos, and a 14-yard fumble return for a touchdown. And then also have to mention Penn State safety Jair Brown, 4 tackles, 2 solos, and a 70-yard fumble return for a touchdown. Penn State cover minus 18.5 over 45. Penn State by themselves. Louisville upsetting number 24, NC State 25-10. NC State did not have MJ Morris, I guess. So they played quarterback Ben Finley, 16-35, 45.7%, 201 yards, a touchdown, and a pick. Also, Jack Chambers, 207, 28.6%, 13 yards. It's a struggle for the NC State quarterbacks, not named Morris or Leary, who's out for the year there. Louisville also didn't have Malik Cunningham for some reason, but Brock Doman got it done, 12 of 25, 48%, 153 yards, 6 carries, 26 yards. It really wasn't him, though. It was Jawar Jordan, the Cardinals running back here, 16 carries, 105 yards, and a touchdown, 1 reception for 13 yards, and then a 98-yard kick return touchdown as well. A lot of return touchdowns in college football, defensively and special teams wise. It was crazy. Again, Saturday scaries, different kind of feeling this past weekend. But leading the game in receiving here, Louisville wide receiver Tyler Hudson, 6 catches, 85 yards. And defensively, a lot of great performances here. Who do I even want to pick? I don't even know. Probably got to go with Louisville linebacker Yasir Abdullah, 7 tackles, 3 solos, 2.5 sacks, and 3 tackles for loss. Louisville corner Jarvis Brownlee and linebacker Monty Montgomery both having great games as well. Louisville -4 covered, under 43. Texas crushing Kansas 55-14. They did have Jalen Daniels, did the Jayhawks. He went 17-26, 65.4%, 230 yards, 2 touchdowns and a pick, 2 carries for 12 yards. Jason Bean came in late for him, 1 of 3, 33.3% for 12 yards. Quinn Ewers was pretty decent, 12 of 21, 57.1%, 107 yards, a touchdown, 2 carries, 11 yards. But it was the Bijan Robinson show. Him and Jonathan Brooks both having great days. But Bijan, career high in rushing yards, 25 carries, 243 yards, 4 rushing touchdowns, also career high for Bijan. So great way for Texas to try to end the season here on a high note, get to 8, possibly 9 wins with the bowl game there. And they're still alive for the Big 12 title game if they can get a win and a Kansas State loss this weekend. Bijan, his running mate there, Jonathan Brooks for Texas, also 11 carries, 108 yards, and 2 touchdowns. And then Kansas wide receiver Quentin Skinner, he led the game in receiving, 4 catches, 98 yards. Defensively, I'm going to go with Texas defensive back Jaron Thompson, 4 tackles, all of them solos, 1 tackle for loss, and a pass deflection. Texas covered easily, -9 over 63.5. South Alabama, the Jags continue to win. They are just praying for a Troy loss this weekend so they can win and get into the Sun Belt Championship game. 27-20 over Southern Miss. Carter Bradley for the Jags there, 15 of 22, 68.2%. 238 yards, 3 touchdowns, 2 picks. Desmond Trotter came in for him late, 2 of 4, 19 yards, 1 carry, 18 yards. Trey Lowe for the Eagles there, 18 of 33, 54.5%, 167 yards, a pick, 6 carries for 15 yards. How about the day for South Alabama running back Braylon McReynolds? 15 carries, 100 yards, 3 receptions for 66 yards there. And then Frank Gore Jr., he continues to do everything for the Golden Eagles here. 20 carries, 66 yards, a rushing touchdown, 2 receptions, 18 yards, and he threw a 29-yard touchdown pass as well. Southern Miss wide receiver Jason Brownlee continues to have a nice season, 7 catches, 109 yards, and a touchdown to lead the game in receiving. And then defensively, want to go with South Alabama safety Yam Banks. If you're eating some yams this weekend, you can think of Yam Banks for South Alabama. 5 tackles, 2 solos, 1 sack, 1 tackle for loss, 1 pass deflection, and a QB hurry. Southern Miss did cover, though, by the hook, 7 plus 7.5 over 45 by 2. And speaking of Troy, they got the win 34-16 easily over UL Monroe. Chandler Rogers for the Warhawks there, 17-28, 60.7%, 145 yards, 18 carries, 44 yards, 2 touchdowns, and a fumble. Troy quarterback Gunnar Watson, 10 of 17, 78 yards. Not much for him to do on the day because Kimani Vidal had his back. 29 carries, 242 rushing yards, 2 touchdowns for him as well. Crazy good day for Vidal there of Troy. Leading receiver in this one, Troy wide receiver Tez Johnson, 6 catches, 42 yards. And then defensively, got to go with Troy defensive end Antonio Showers, 3 tackles, 2 solos, 1 sack, 1 tackle for loss, and a 13-yard fumble return for a touchdown. Troy covered minus 15 over 48.5. Number 25, Cincinnati, the Bearcats getting an easy one over Temple, 23-3. Temple quarterback EJ Warner, Kurt Warner's son, 21 of 36, 58.3%, 167 yards, 2 picks, struggled on the day there. So did both of the Cincinnati quarterbacks relatively. Ben Bryant did more than Evan Prater, 9 of 18, 50%, 130 yards, a touchdown. Evan Prater was pretty efficient, though, for the Bearcats, 12 of 17, 70.6%, 127 yards, 9 carries for 24 yards. Cincinnati running back Ryan Montgomery led the game in rushing, 14 carries, 58 yards, a touchdown, and he also had 1 13-yard reception. Leading the game in receiving here, Cincinnati wide receiver Trey Tucker, 4 catches, 78 yards, and a touchdown. Defensively, how can I not go with Temple linebacker Leighton Jordan, 6 tackles, 4 solos, 2.5 sacks, 3.5 tackles for loss, and 1 pass deflection. Cincinnati covered minus 17, under 49. Iowa keeping their Big Ten championship game hopes alive, 13-10. They need a win this weekend and they will be in. Otherwise, they are at the hands of Purdue. If Iowa loses to Nebraska and Purdue wins, they would be in. Spencer Petras here for the Hawkeyes, though. They beat Minnesota 13-10, 15 of 24, 62.5%, 221 yards, and a rushing touchdown. Minnesota quarterback Ethan Kaliak-Manis, 7 of 15, 46.7%, 87 yards, a pick, 4 carries for 32 yards. But how about another great performance by a running back this weekend? Loving Minnesota running back Mohamed Ibrahim, 39 carries, 263 yards, a touchdown, a fumble, 1 catch for 7 yards. In a loss, no less. That's pretty tough for Ibrahim to swallow there. Iowa tight end Sam Laporta led the game in receiving, 4 catches, 95 yards. And then defensively, I'm going to go with Iowa linebacker Jack Campbell, 10 tackles, 6 solos, 1 QB hurry, and a pick. Love me some Jack Campbell there. Iowa +2, under 31.5. That's just ridiculous to go under that number. How about the upset? Georgia Tech 21-17 over number 13 North Carolina, keeping their bowl game hopes alive. Did the Yellow Jackets. Unfortunately for them, they play the number 1 team in the country in Athens, Georgia this weekend. But Drake May, 16-30, 53.3%, 202 yards a pick, 14 carries, 13 yards. He struggled. UNC also to note in this game, they were up 17-0. Tech scored 21 unanswered to win this game. 2 quarterbacks here for Georgia Tech. Zach Gibson, 13 of 18, 72.2%, 174 yards. He was the quarterback at the end of the game. Also, Tayson Fomachan, 2 of 5, 40%, 13 yards, 1 pick, 10 carries, 44 yards, and a touchdown. UNC running back Elijah Green led the game in rushing, 10 carries, 92 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 catches for -5 yards. And then UNC tight end Bryson Nesbitt led the game in receiving, 4 catches, 85 yards. Defensively, got to go with Georgia Tech defensive lineman Keon White, 7 tackles, 4 solos, 3 sacks, and 4 tackles for loss. Georgia Tech +21, winning outright, under 63 easily. South Carolina, the Gamecocks getting it done in Columbia. crushing number 5 Tennessee 63-38. Spencer Rattler had the game of his career between Oklahoma and South Carolina. Best game he's ever played here. 30 of 37, 81.1% completion, 438 yards, 6 passing touchdowns. Also had 5 carries for 16 yards. Tennessee played 2 quarterbacks because unfortunately Hendon Hooker going down with the ACL tear. Never like to see that in the game there. 25 of 42 though, 59.5%, 247 yards, 3 touchdowns, 5 carries, 25 yards, and a fumble. Joe Milton, the third, came in 4 of 8, 50%, 1 touchdown, 2 carries, 17 yards. The passing yards here for Milton was 108 yards there for Joe Milton in his 4 passes. But Jabari Small for Tennessee led the game in rushing, 11 carries, 80 yards, and a touchdown. You had South Carolina wide receiver Antoine Wells Jr. lead the game in receiving, 11 receptions, 177 yards. Great game for him. He also scored on a 3-yard rushing touchdown as well. Also, Tennessee wide receiver Cedric Tillman, 9 receptions, 81 yards. He scored twice, as did South Carolina wide receiver Josh Bann, who had 5 catches, 78 yards in the 2 scores. South Carolina tight end Jaheim Bell, also 5 catches, 39 yards. He scored twice and rushed 17 times for 82 yards. South Carolina wide receiver Dakarian Joyner, 2 catches, 13 yards. He had 6 carries for 21 yards, and he scored 2 rushing touchdowns as well. Defensively, I'm going to go with Tennessee linebacker Aaron Beasley, 5 tackles, 3 solos, 1 sack, and 3 tackles for loss. South Carolina plus 22.5, winning outright over 67, almost by themselves. Boise State going to the Mountain West Championship game, as this game was for the Mountain Division there of the Mountain West Conference. Taylon Green for the Broncos, 20 of 34, 58.8%, 211 yards, 1 touchdown, 9 carries, 47 yards, and a rushing score as well. Wyoming quarterback Jaden Clemens struggled mightily, 3 of 16, 18.8%, 30 yards, 3 picks, 7 carries for 26 yards. He got a lot of help from running back Titus Swen, however, 19 carries, 212 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 catch for 17 yards. Just was not enough. Swen's 200-yard performance here. But Boise State's running back George Halani also had over 100 yards in this game, 20 carries, 132 yards, a fumble, 3 catches for 9 yards. Boise State wide receiver Billy Bowens led the game in receiving, 4 catches, 77 yards, and a touchdown. Defensively, I got to go with my guy, Boise State safety JL Skinner, 5 tackles, 3 solos, and 2 picks out of the 3 that Clemens threw. Wyoming covered plus 14.5, under 44.5. Arkansas upsetting number 14 Ole Miss 42-27 drubbing. Jackson Dart 21 of 36, 58.3%, 240 yards, a touchdown, a pick, 11 carries, 44 yards, and a fumble. How about the day for KJ Jefferson, 17 of 22, 77.3%. The Razorbacks quarterback threw for 168 yards, 3 touchdown passes, 8 carries, 47 yards. But again, it was the running backs. We had 3 200-yard rushers in this game. Just ridiculous running back performances on Saturday. Raheem Sanders for Arkansas, 24 carries, 232 yards, 3 rushing touchdowns, 5 catches for 29 yards. And how about the 2 backs for Mississippi? Quinshad Judkins, the true freshman, 24 carries, 214 yards, a touchdown, a fumble, 2 catches for 27 yards. And then Zach Evans, 17 carries, 207 yards, and a touchdown as well. Ole Miss wide receiver Malik Heath led the game in receiving, 9 catches, 140 yards, and a touchdown. And then Arkansas wide receiver Matt Landers, 3 catches, 38 yards, and he scored 2 out of the 3 Jefferson touchdown passes. Defensively, I'm going to go with Ole Miss linebacker Ashanti Sistrunk, 8 tackles, 3 solos, 1 sack, 2.5 tackles for loss. Arkansas covered. It was a pick'em game. Over 68 by 1. 69 in this game. Oklahoma 28-13 upset over number 22 Oklahoma State in the it's not the Red River Showdown. I am completely blanking on what this rivalry is called. But Spencer Sanders for Oklahoma State, 36 of 67, 53.7%, 381 yards, 1 touchdown, 4 picks. Terrible day for Sanders there, 17 carries, 42 yards. Dylan Gabriel for the Sooners, 20 of 40, 50% completion, 259 yards, 2 touchdowns, a pick, 6 carries, 30 yards, and a rushing score. Oklahoma running back Eric Gray led the game in rushing, 20 carries, 90 yards, 1 touchdown, 3 catches for 30 yards as well. Oklahoma State's had 2 100-yard receivers there. Wide receiver Brennan Presley, 9 catches, 118 yards, and then wide receiver Braden Johnson, 7 receptions, 109 yards. A lot of defensive performances here, and I think I'm going to go with Oklahoma defensive lineman Ethan Downs, 3 tackles, 2 solos, 1 sack, 1.5 tackles for loss, 1 pass deflection, and 3 QB hurries. Oklahoma covered -7, under 67.5. How about this game? Number 7 USC almost assuredly punching their ticket to the Pac-12 title game. Just need a win this weekend. 48-45 over number 16 UCLA. Caleb Williams, 32 of 43, 74.4%, 470 yards. Career high for him. 2 touchdowns, a pick, 8 carries, 33 yards, and a touchdown there as well on the ground. The night for Dorian Thompson-Robinson, UCLA, it was a valiant effort in a 3-point loss. 23 of 38, 60.5%, 309 passing yards, 4 touchdowns, but he threw 3 picks. Also, 14 carries, 81 yards, 2 touchdowns on the ground, and a fumble. So he scored 6 times, but he turned it over 4 times. Not going to get it done against a quality USC team there. That was really the difference. USC running back Austin Jones, how about the night, filling in for the injured Travis Dye, 21 carries, 120 yards, 2 touchdowns, 4 catches for 57 yards. Leading receiver in this one, USC wide receiver Jordan Addison returning for his second game, I believe, back. 11 receptions, 178 yards, and a touchdown here. Defensively, also UCLA tight end Michael Ezeki. How about the night for him? 4 catches, 44 yards, 3 touchdowns on his 4 catches there. Defensively, got to go with USC defensive back Max Williams, 5 tackles, 3 solos, 3 pass deflections. Nice night for him, keeping the ball out of the UCLA receiver's hands. USC covered -2.5 by the hook. Over 77.5. I think I told y'all this game was going to score a lot of points. 93 that one, most ever in the series. Wake Forest 45-35 win over Syracuse. Sam Hartman, 30 of 43, 69.8%, 331 yards, 4 touchdown passes, 13 carries, 44 yards. Nice breezy Saturday for Hartman there. Garrett Schrader for the Qs, 17-31, 54.8%, 324 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 pick, 10 carries, 24 yards, and a rushing score as well. Nice bounce back day for Syracuse running back Sean Tucker, 16 carries, 106 yards, 2 touchdowns. Haven't seen him produce like that in quite a while. The day for Syracuse running back LaQuint Allen, also interesting. 2 carries, -9 yards, 2 catches, 50 yards, and a receiving touchdown. And then he threw a 33-yard touchdown as well. The receiving day for A.T. Perry. This is why we love A.T. Perry. Wake Forest, 10 catches, 119 yards, 3 receiving touchdowns on the day. Defensively, a lot of good performance here, but I got to go with Wake Forest defensive back Brendan Harris, 2 tackles, 1 solo, and a 36-yard pick 6. Wake Forest covered by the hook, minus 9.5, over 58.5, easily 80 in this game. Number 6, LSU, no problem, over UAB, 41-10. Jaden Daniels, 22 of 29, 75.9%, 297 yards, a touchdown. Also very good on the ground, 12 carries, 111 yards, and a touchdown. UAB played 2 quarterbacks, Dylan Hopkins, 14 of 29, 48.3%, 158 yards. And then Jacob Zeno, 3 of 6, 50% completion, 53 yards. How about the day for LSU running back Noah Kane, 13 carries, 76 yards, 3 rushing touchdowns for him, and a 6-yard reception as well. John Emery did not have as good of a day. The Tigers running back, 9 carries, 46 yards, 1 touchdown, but he fumbled it twice. LSU's wide receiver Malik Neighbors led the game in receiving, 7 receptions, 129 yards. And defensively, I'm going to go with LSU linebacker Harold Perkins Jr. Why not him again? 5 tackles, 3 solos, 2 tackles for loss, and a pass deflection. LSU covered easily, minus 15, over 50.5. By the hook. Yeah, another one by the hook. Number 17, Washington. Another team, no issue in their game. 54-7 over Colorado. Michael Penix Jr., 19 of 31, 61.3%, 229 yards, and a touchdown. Washington also playing Dylan Morris there, 4 of 7, 57.1%, 66 yards, a touchdown, a pick, 4 carries for 32 yards. Colorado played 2 quarterbacks, JT Shrout, 6 of 18, 33.3%, 120 yards, a touchdown, and a pick. And then Drew Carter, 1 of 4, 25%, 3 yards, 5 carries for 16 yards. Nice day for Washington. Running back Wayne Talapapa, 11 carries, 107 yards, 2 rushing touchdowns on the day. Also, Washington running back Cameron Davis, 12 carries, 59 yards. He scored twice as well. Washington wide receiver Jalen McMillan led the game in receiving, 8 receptions, 98 yards, and a touchdown. Defensively, I'm going to go with Washington linebacker Carson Bruner, 5 tackles, 4 solos, 2 tackles for loss, and a pass deflection. Washington covered minus 30.5, over 60.5. Guess what? By the hook. Number 12, Oregon. Massive win over number 10, Utah, 20-17. Bo Nix, 25 of 37, 67.6%, 287 yards, a touchdown, and a pick. Was struggling mightily with his injured leg there, but got the job done. Folk hero status now does Bo Nix have in Eugene. Cam Rising here, 21 of 38, 55.3%, 107 yards, 3 picks on the night, really struggled there. 7 carries for 43 yards. Utah running back Tavion Thomas led the game in rushing, 19 carries, 55 yards, also 1 catch for minus 1 yard. Oregon wide receiver Dante Thornton led the game in receiving. Great game for him. 4 catches, 151 yards, but he did have 2 fumbles that gave Utah some help there. And then Utah tight end Dalton Kincaid, he's their whole offense pretty much. 11 receptions, 99 yards for him there. Defensively, a whole host of guys there. I want to go with 2 here. Oregon defensive back Bennett Williams, 14 tackles, 7 solos, a half a tackle for loss, 2 picks. And then Utah linebacker Kareem Reed, 7 tackles, 5 solos, and an 11-yard fumble return for a touchdown. Really sparked the Utes and helped them get back in this game. Oregon covers, though, -1, under 61.5 easily. FCS game of the week, number 8, William & Mary, the Tribe getting it done on the road, 37-26 over number 11, Richmond. William & Mary wins the CAA there, the Colonial Athletic Association. Quarterback Reese Udinsky for Richmond, 32 of 50, 64%, 277 yards, 2 touchdowns. William & Mary quarterback Darius Wilson, 9 of 13, 69.2%, 227 yards, and a touchdown. Also great on the ground, 6 carries, 42 yards, and 2 rushing touchdowns. Tribe running back Bronson Yoder, 21 carries, 89 yards, 2 rushing touchdowns, also 1 reception for 0 yards. And leading receiver on the day, Richmond wide receiver Leroy Henley, 9 receptions, 100 yards. No defensive stats to talk about in this one. No turnovers in this game. William and Mary cover plus 1.5 over 53. In the NFL, the Eagles get to 9-1 in a comeback effort. First time coming back from 10 points down since Miracle at the Meadowlands Part 2. Deshaun Jackson returning that punt return touchdown in a 28-point total game effort comeback for Philly. One of the greatest games I've ever watched. But here, Matt Ryan for the Colts, 23 of 32, 71.9%, 213 yards. Jalen Hurts was Superman in this game. He had to be. He was everything that the Eagles needed. He led them back to the comeback, including scoring the game-winning touchdown. 18 of 25, 72%, 190 yards, a touchdown, 16 carries, 86 yards, a touchdown, and a fumble. Colts running back Jonathan Taylor led the game in rushing, 22 carries, 84 yards, a touchdown, and a fumble. 3 receptions for 10 yards. That's leading the rushing outside of Jalen Hurts. Eagles wide receiver Devontae Smith led the game in receiving, 6 catches for 78 yards on 9 targets. Defensively, I'm going to go with Eagles defensive tackle Milton Williams, 4 tackles, 2 solos, 1 sack, 2 tackles for loss, and a QB hit. Colts covered plus 6.5, under 45.5. Ravens in a close one over the Panthers, 13-3. Lamar Jackson, 24 of 33, 72.7%, 209 yards and a pick, 11 carries, 33 yards, and a rushing touchdown that gave the Ravens the lead that they never gave back. Panthers quarterback Baker Mayfield, 21 of 33, 63.6%, 196 yards, 2 picks, 2 carries for 12 yards. Ravens running back Kenyon Drake led the game in rushing, 10 carries, 46 yards, 2 catches for 7 yards. And then we had a career day for Ravens wide receiver DeMarcus Robinson, 9 receptions, 128 yards on 9 targets. A lot of great defensive stats in this game because that's just how this game went. I have to go with Ravens linebacker Jason Pierre-Paul, though. 2 tackles, both of them solos, 1 sack, 2 tackles for loss, 1 pass deflection, 1 QB hit, and a pick of Baker Mayfield. Panthers covered plus 12.5, under 41.5. Falcons edging the Bears out 27-24. Justin Fields 14-21, 66.7%, 153 yards, a touchdown, and a pick. 18 carries, 85 yards, and a touchdown. Marcus Mariota for the Falcons 13-20, 65%, 131 yards, a touchdown. 13 carries, 25 yards, and a rushing touchdown as well. Leading rusher outside of Fields here, Bears running back David Montgomery, 17 carries, 67 yards, 1 rushing touchdown, and 3 catches for 54 yards. How about the day for Falcons running back Cordell Patterson, 10 carries, 52 yards, a fumble, 2 receptions for 7 yards, and a 103-yard kick return touchdown that made him the all-time kick return touchdown leader in NFL history with 9 kick return touchdowns in his career. Tight end Kyle Pitts led the game in receiving for the Falcons in the game. 3 receptions, 43 yards on 5 targets. Defensively, I'm going to go with Falcons defensive end Arnold Ebiketie, my guy from Penn State, 2nd-round pick this year. The Falcons, 6 tackles, 5 solos, 1 sack, 2 tackles for loss, and a QB hit. Falcons cover -2 by 1 over 48.5. Bills in a closer one than it actually was, 31-23 over the Browns. Browns scored late to make it a 1-score game. But Jacoby Brissett, great game for him, 28 of 41, 68.3%, 324 yards, 3 touchdowns, 7 carries, 29 yards, and a fumble. Josh Allen did not have that great of a game, didn't rush the ball well because Singletary and Cook got most of the carries there and were effective. But Allen went 18 of 27, 66.7%, 197 yards, a touchdown. Speaking of Devin Singletary, James Cook, they both had the same exact rushing yards here, but Singletary 18 carries, 86 yards, a touchdown, 2 catches for 11 yards, and then Cook 11 carries, 86 yards. Browns wide receiver Amari Cooper led the game in receiving, 8 receptions, 113 yards, 2 touchdowns on 12 targets. Defensively, got to go with Bills linebacker Matt Milano, 12 tackles, 8 solos, 1 sack, 3 tackles for loss, and a QB hit. Bills -8 pushed over 50. How about the game? This one was so gross. Patriots, though, getting the win 10-3 over the Jets. Mac Jones, 23 of 27, 85.2%, 246 yards. Zach Wilson struggled a lot, 9 of 22, 40.9%, 77 yards, 3 carries for 26 yards. The Jets had 2 total yards of offense in the second half. That's just ridiculous. Patriots running back Damian Harris led the game in rushing, 8 carries, 65 yards, 2 receptions for 28 yards. Leading the game in receiving was Patriots wide receiver Jacoby Myers, 4 receptions, 52 yards on 6 targets. And then defensively, I'm going to go with Patriots safety Kyle Duggar, 7 tackles, 4 solos, 1 sack, 2 tackles for loss, 1 pass deflection, and a QB hit. Also, the guy that won the game for the Patriots, rookie corner Marcus Jones, 5th-round pick out of Arizona State, I believe. I can't remember. Houston, out of Houston, yeah. 84-yard punt return touchdown. That is why you draft Marcus Jones, though, for his special teams ability. Was electric for the Cougars at Houston. Patriots cover -3.5, under 38 easily. Saints getting it done 27-20 over the Rams. Andy Dalton, 21-25, 84%, 260 yards, 3 touchdowns. Great day for the Red Rifle there. Matthew Stafford got a concussion in this game, but he went 11 of 18, 61.1%, 159 yards, 2 touchdowns. Bryce Perkins came in for him, struggled a little bit, 5 of 10, 50% completion for 64 yards. Rams running back Cam Akers led the game in rushing, 14 carries, 61 yards. Saints wide receiver Chris Olave had the lead in the game in receiving, 5 catches, 102 yards, and a touchdown on 6 targets. Defensively, I think I'm going to go with Saints linebacker Caden Ellis, 11 tackles, 6 solos, 1.5 sacks, 1 tackle for loss, 1 pass deflection, and 2 QB hits. Saints cover -2.5 over 39. How about the upset? Lions over the Giants, 31-18. Daniel Jones for New York, 27 of 44, 61.4%, 341 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 picks. Really struggled there. 7 carries, 50 yards, and a rushing touchdown. Jared Goff, 17-26, 65.4%, 165 yards for Detroit. Lions running back Justin Jackson led the game in rushing, actually. It was weird to see that. 9 carries, 66 yards, and a 1 11-yard reception as well. But it was Jamal Williams that powered the Lions through here. The Lions running back had 17 carries, 64 yards, 3 rushing touchdowns on the day. Giants wide receiver Wan'Dale Robinson injured in this game, but did lead the game in receiving, 9 receptions, 100 yards on 13 targets. Great day for him. Besides the injury there, Darius Slayton for the Giants also double-digit targets, 5 catches, 86 yards on 10 targets. Defensively, got to go with Lions defensive tackle Aleem McNeil, 4 tackles, 3 solos, 1 sack, 3 tackles for loss, 3 QB hits. Lions +3 over 44.5. Commanders winning again 23-10. They are now over 500 over the Texans. Taylor Heineke, 15-27, 55.6%, 191 yards. Davis Mills struggled, 19-33, 57.6%, 169 yards, 2 picks, 5 carries, 10 yards, and a touchdown. Antonio Gibson, the Commanders running back, led the game in rushing, 18 carries, 72 yards, 3 receptions for 31 yards. Texans wide receiver Brandon Cooks led the game in receiving, though, 3 receptions, 70 yards on 6 targets. Defensively, great performances here. 2 guys I want to point out. Washington corner Kendall Fuller, 4 tackles, 2 solos, 1 pass deflection, 37-yard pick, 6. And then how about the day for Commanders defensive tackle Jonathan Allen, 3 tackles, all of them solos, 2 sacks, 3 tackles for loss, 4 QB hits. Commanders covered easily, -3, under 41. Raiders finally getting a comeback of their own after letting up a couple this year. 22-16 over the Broncos in overtime. Derek Carr, 23 of 37, 62.2%, 307 yards, 2 touchdowns. Russell Wilson, 24 of 31, 77.4%, 247 yards. Running back Josh Jacobs back to his old self. 24 carries, 109 yards in this one. 3 catches, 51 yards. And how about the vintage game for Raiders wide receiver Devontae Adams, 7 receptions, 141 yards, 2 touchdowns, including the game winner where he's wide open, 13 targets for Tay in this game. Defensively, got to go with Raiders defensive end Max Crosby, 6 tackles, 5 solos, 2 sacks, 2 tackles for loss, and 3 QB hits. Raiders +2.5, under 41.5. Bengals in a close one over the Steelers, 37-30. Joe Burrow was great, 24 of 39, 61.5%, 355 yards, 4 touchdowns, 2 picks. Kenny Pickett looked a lot better in this game, 25 of 42, 59.5%, 265 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 carries for 14 yards. Pittsburgh finally getting their offense clicking a little bit more in this one. Najee Harris led the game in rushing, 20 carries, 90 yards, 2 touchdowns, 4 receptions for 26 yards on 6 targets. Samaje Perine for the Bengals had an increased workload. Joe Mixon going down in this game, 11 carries, 30 yards, 4 receptions, 52 yards, 3 receiving touchdowns in this one. Bengals wide receiver T. Higgins was uncoverable in this one, 9 receptions, 148 yards on 13 targets. And then Steelers tight end Pat Freiermuth also double-digit targets, 8 receptions, 79 yards on 12 targets. Defensively, got to go with Bengals defensive end Trey Hendrickson, 5 tackles, 4 solos, 2 sacks, 2 tackles for loss, 1 pass selection, 4 QB hits. TJ Watt also, great game for him. Ridiculous interception that he had. Bengals cover -3.5, over 39.5 easily. 67 in that one. How about the blowout of the weekend? Cowboys 40-3 over the Vikings. Dak Prescott 22 of 25, 88%, 276 yards, 2 touchdowns, 3 carries, 16 yards. Cooper Rush came in for him late, 4 of 5, 80%, 31 yards. Vikings quarterback Kirk Cousins, 12 of 23, 52.2%, 105 yards, and a fumble. Nick Mullins came in for him late, 5 of 7, 71.4%, 54 yards. How about the game for Tony Pollard? 15 carries, 80 yards, 6 receptions, 109 yards, 2 touchdowns on 6 targets, 189 total yards on 21 touches is a hell of a day there. And then how about the return of Cowboys running back Ezekiel Elliott, 15 carries, 42 yards. Not great there, but he did score 2 touchdowns and had a 5-yard reception. Leading the game in receiving, Cowboys wide receiver CeeDee Lamb, 5 receptions, 45 yards on 5 targets. And then defensively, amazing game for Cowboys linebacker Michael Parsons, 4 tackles, all of them solos, 2 sacks, 1 tackle for loss, 5 quarterback hits, and a forced fumble as well. Cowboys covered easily, -2, under 48.5. Sunday Night Football, Chiefs in the comeback, 30-27 over the Chargers. Patrick Mahomes was great, 20 of 34, 58.8%, 329 yards, 3 touchdowns, 4 carries for 23 yards. Justin Herbert had a bad pick there. Not really, it was a tip ball, but 23 of 36, 76.7%, 280 yards, 2 touchdowns, and a pick, 5 carries for 17 yards as well. Chiefs rookie running back Isaiah Pacheco, great night for him, 15 carries, 107 yards. Chiefs tight end Travis Kelce led the game in receiving, 6 catches, 115 yards, 3 touchdowns on 10 targets. And then Chargers wide receiver Joshua Palmer also over 100, 8 receptions, 106 yards, 2 touchdowns on 10 targets as well. Defensively, got to go with Chiefs defensive tackle Chris Jones, 5 tackles, all of them solos, 2 sacks, 3 tackles for loss, 4 QB hits on Herbert. Chargers did cover, though, plus 5.5 over 53. NFL news. We got some college stuff. EA Sports College Football is what they're calling it. That is set to debut summer 2024. So make sure you look out for that. The reboot of EA Sports NCAA football franchise will not be called NCAA because of copyright, but it will be called EA Sports College Football there. I mentioned Tennessee quarterback Hendon Hooker. He is out for the season, torn ACL there. Terrible news for the Vols. NFL news here. We have the 28 Hall of Fame semifinalists announced for the class of 2023. They are corner Eric Allen, who played for the Eagles, Saints, and Raiders. Defensive end Jared Allen, Chiefs, Vikings, Bears, and Panthers for him. Offensive tackle Willie Anderson, playing for the Bengals and the Ravens. Safety Rondé Barber played for the Bucks his whole career. Wide receiver Anquan Bolden, playing for the Cardinals, Ravens, 49ers, and Lions. Wide receiver Henry Ellard played for the LA Rams, the Washington Redskins, and the Patriots. Guard Jari Evans, he is one of 5 first ballot Hall of Fame semifinalists, playing for the Saints and the Packers. Linebacker London Fletcher, playing for the St. Louis Rams, the Bills, and the Redskins. Defensive end Dwight Freeney, also a first ballot guy, played for the Colts, Chargers, San Diego Chargers, Cardinals, Falcons, Seahawks, and the Lions. Linebacker James Harrison, also a first ballot semifinalist, played for the Steelers twice, the Bengals, and the Patriots. Safety Rodney Harrison, San Diego Chargers, and the Patriots. Wide receiver, kick returner, and punt returner Devin Hester, all-time leading returner until Cordero Patterson broke his record there. But playing for the Bears, Falcons, Ravens, and Seahawks. Wide receiver Torrey Holt, playing for the St. Louis Rams and the Jags. Wide receiver Andre Johnson, playing for the Texans, Colts, and Titans. Corner Albert Lewis, playing for the Chiefs and the LA/Oakland Raiders. Defensive end Robert Mathis, playing for the Colts his whole career. Corner Darrelle Revis, a first ballot semifinalist, playing for the Jets twice, the Bucks, Patriots, and the Chiefs. Wide receiver Steve Smith Sr., playing for the Panthers and the Ravens. Running back Fred Taylor, playing for the Jags and Patriots. Offensive tackle Joe Thomas, also a first ballot semifinalist, playing for the Browns his whole career. Linebacker Zach Thomas played for the Dolphins and the Cowboys. Wide receiver Hines Ward, playing for the Steelers his whole career. Linebacker DeMarcus Ware, playing for the Cowboys and the Broncos. Running back Ricky Waters, played for the 49ers, Eagles, and Seahawks. Wide receiver Reggie Wayne, playing for the Colts his whole career. Defensive tackle Vince Wilfork, playing for the Patriots and the Texans. And then linebacker Patrick Willis, played for the 49ers his whole career. And safety Darren Woodson, playing with the Cowboys his entire career. So a great class here, 28 guys. Got to whittle that down for their finalists. I believe there's 15 finalists that they whittle that down to, and then we will get the class announcement at NFL Honors coming up in February. But I do like a lot of the guys here. I just think that out of the 5 first ballot guys, Joe Thomas has a really good shot. As does Darrelle Revis, I think, as the quote unquote best players of their time in the league. Other guys that I think have a good opportunity are Willie Anderson, one of the best tackles of all time, and Torrey Holt, obviously, on the Greatest Show on Turf. the only one really to knock it in from that offense there. I think Rodney Harrison has a great shot getting in, as does Steve Smith Sr. He might have to wait a little bit longer, though. Reggie Wayne, I think, also is a good opportunity for him to get in here. The NFL also announcing its 2022 Art Rooney Sportsmanship Award. Nominees here. They are in alphabetical order by team: Cardinals safety Budda Baker, Falcons defensive tackle Grady Jarrett, Ravens defensive tackle Calais Campbell, Bills linebacker Von Miller, Panthers punter Johnny Hecker, Bears safety DeAndre Houston Carson, Bengals defensive tackle BJ Hill, Browns running back Nick Chubb, Cowboys quarterback Dak Prescott, Broncos corner Pat Surtain II, Lions wide receiver Khalif Raymond, Packers running back Aaron Jones, Texans linebacker Jerry Hughes, Colts defensive tackle DeForest Buckner, Jags wide receiver Christian Kirk, Chiefs linebacker Nick Bolton, Raiders defensive end Max Crosby, Chargers running back Austin Eckler, Rams wide receiver Cooper Kupp, Dolphins fullback Alec Ingold, Vikings running back Dalvin Cook, Patriots center David Andrews, Saints tackle Ryan Ramczyk, Giants quarterback Daniel Jones, Jets tackle Dwayne Brown, Eagles tackle Lane Johnson, Steelers linebacker Alex Highsmith, 49ers fullback Kyle Juszczyk, Seahawks tight end Will Dissly, Bucks linebacker Levante David, Titans running back Derrick Henry, and Commanders wide receiver Terry McLaurin. So very proud of all those men for their efforts in sportsmanship, keeping the game fair and equal there. Other general news here. The free agent wide receiver Odell Beckham Jr., he is planning to visit with both the Cowboys and the Giants after Thanksgiving. Those two teams play, obviously, on Thanksgiving in the afternoon slate. So we'll see what comes of those meetings with those two teams. Broncos head coach Nathaniel Hackett, he is giving play calling duties up to quarterback coach Clint Kubiak. So we'll see how that changes the Denver offense, see if they can somehow turn their season around. Still just a couple of games out of the playoff picture here. A lot of quarterback news this week. Commanders, they are moving forward with quarterback Taylor Heineke as their starter. The Falcons are doing the same with Marcus Mariota. Both of those guys keep winning. So, and both teams are in the playoff hunt. So no need to change quarterbacks there. Texans, they may make a change at quarterback, though. Kyle Allen is Davis Mills' backup. So we'll have to wait and see what head coach Lovie Smith does this weekend. Jets also could make a quarterback change. Robert Saleh, head coach of the Jets, not committing to Kyle Allen or to Zach Wilson as his starter. So we'll have to see if it's Joe Flacco, Mike White, or Zach Wilson this weekend. Panthers, though, they are changing quarterbacks, switching from Baker Mayfield to Sam Darnold, who is now healthy after his ankle injury. So Sam Darnold, your starting quarterback for the Carolina Panthers this weekend. Cowboys, left tackle Tyron Smith, he is working his way back from injury. Owner Jerry Jones said he will return to his left tackle spot. Tight tackle Tyler Smith will move back to guard once Tyron returns. The Eagles, they play Sunday Night Football against the Packers in Philly this weekend. They are debuting their alternative black helmets. Their alternate black helmets going to look very good with their all black uniform, wearing black pants, black jerseys, black helmets, everything blackout in Philly on Sunday night. Going to be great look for them. NFI activations, Lions wide receiver Jameson Williams, their rookie first round pick. They opened his practice window, so hopefully he will get a couple games here in his rookie season. And hey, the Lions keep winning, man. We might see him in the playoffs. Why not? IR activations here. The Panthers got safety Jeremy Tin back for their game this weekend. So did the Lions wide receiver DJ Chark. Bucks running back Gio Bernard activated from IR. The Bengals wide receiver Jamar Chase, they activated his practice window. So we'll see if he plays this weekend or not. And Commanders defensive end Chase Young, on the cusp of his window expiring, they activated him from IR. So we'll see if he plays or not this weekend. Guys placed on IR, though. Commanders running back J.D. McKissick, he is out for the season with a neck injury. Patriots punter Jake Bailey, also placed on IR, as was Chargers kicker Dustin Hopkins. Patriots replacing Bailey with Michael Pilardi, and the Chargers moving forward with Dicker, the kicker, Cameron Dicker, in LA. A lot of injuries here. Eagles tight end Dallas Goedert, update on him being on IR. He is expected to return during the regular season and not just the playoffs. So we'll see Goddard back in Philly in just a few short weeks here. Also with the Eagles defensive tackle Jordan Davis, he has a chance to return when he is first eligible. That is December 4th against the Titans in Philly. Will be a massive boost if they can get him back against Derrick Henry. Rams wide receiver Cooper Kupp, update on his injury, expected to miss 6 to 8 weeks after ankle surgery. So, may not return for this season. I don't think he will. The Rams are currently 3-7, not in the playoff picture right now. So it'd be tough for Kupp to return quickly enough for the Rams to for him to play this season. Vikings wide receiver Justin Jefferson, he has a mild turf toe injury, didn't really halter him this weekend, but we'll have to monitor that going forward. Rams quarterback Matthew Stafford, he went out of that game on Sunday with a concussion, so we'll have to see what his status is coming up this weekend. Patriots center David Andrews, he has a potentially season-ending thigh injury. Could return late this season, though, or the playoff, if the Patriots can get there. So we'll have to wait and see on that one. Eagles defensive tackle Marlon Tuipulotu, placed on IR last week. He is expected to miss the rest of the season. He tore his meniscus. Vikings offensive tackle Christian Darrisaw, he also went out with a concussion this past weekend, so he is out for Thanksgiving night, and we'll have to see if he can come back the following week with a long break there. Giants wide receiver Wan'Dale Robinson, he is out for the season, torn ACL. Terrible news for the Giants. Receiving corps just keeps getting thinner and thinner there in New York. Also, bad news for the Giants corner Adoree Jackson. He is out 4 to 6 weeks, MCL sprain there. Falcons tight end Kyle Pitts, placed on IR today. He tore his MCL. He is out for the season. Saints defensive end Peyton Turner, he is week to week. He has a low ankle sprain, so best case scenario for the Saints DN there. Broncos running back Chase Edmonds, he is out multiple weeks. He has a high ankle sprain, so it's interesting there what the Broncos are going to do behind Latavius Murray with the waiving of Melvin Gordon. Bears quarterback Justin Fields, he is day-to-day. He has a shoulder injury. He dislocated his non-throwing left shoulder against the Falcons, played through it, but day-to-day with that injury there. Chargers wide receiver Mike Williams, he re-aggravated his high ankle sprain. Brandon Staley said it's not significant injury, so we'll have to wait and see if Mike Williams can play this weekend. Transactions, I mentioned Broncos, they waived running back Melvin Gordon. Interesting move there. The Patriots also waiving running back J.J. Taylor. And the Rams today waived running back Darrell Henderson Jr., so Cam Akers set to be the bell cow there in L.A., all three good running backs there on the open market. Gordon and Taylor cleared waivers, so they are now free agents. Henderson currently on waivers. Let's see if he gets claimed by anyone. Standings here, I was the only one that got a win last week. The Eagles lost on Monday night, and then the Titans beat the Packers. I lone wolfed the Titans on Thursday night and got the win, so I moved back ahead of Mark by one game, 14-8. Mark 13-9 there. Logan, he is now 7 games back, 11-11, 500 for him. And Peter just continues to be under 500, 9-13 there. He is 5 games back, 3 games back for Logan there. So Monday Night Football yesterday, we did have the 49ers. Everyone picked them. We will break that game down on the Football Friday show like we usually do, not tonight. But yeah, I'm going to get that breakdown on Monday. All got the win, though, so good for us. Niners, 10-point favorites at the Cardinals. Really liked the offense going into that. No Kyler Murray for Arizona was going to be a tough thing in Mexico City for the Cards to handle, and it was a lot. Thanksgiving, though, we have 3 games to pick, and we're all on Buffalo, traveling back to Detroit for this one. Now, the Lions surprised the Giants last week in MetLife Stadium, but I don't think they're going to surprise the Bills. The Bills know how to play in Detroit now. They took the visitors' locker room, did the visitors' sideline, and everything like that to prepare themselves for this game, so they have continuity going back to Detroit just a few short days after they left. But yeah, we all like Buffalo. I think Josh Allen's going to play a lot better. The Detroit defense has been susceptible to the past this year, and maybe the Detroit defense overall has not been very good, but I think that the Bills are going to roll over the Lions in this one and have a nice day on Thanksgiving. The total for this game here is 54. So I think I like the over in that game there. A lot of points scored in the early window. That's 12:30 p.m. on CBS is this one. 9.5 it is now at for Buffalo. The afternoon game here, it is a NFC East matchup. Giants at the Cowboys. Giants reeling, coming off the loss against Detroit. Back on they're on the road this week in Dallas. Cowboys getting 9.5 here now. Look, I'm just gonna take one for the team. I do think the Cowboys will probably win this game, but why not the Giants? They're both 7-3. Cowboys feeling themselves after that domination over the Vikings, but the Giants are reeling. They need some help at wide receiver. Don't know who it's going to come from. Maybe Odell Beckham Jr., but not during this game, however. And I think they're going to lean on Saquon. They're going to run him a lot, catch him a lot, and Saquon's going to be the factor in this game that changes it up. And the Giants somehow are going to win this game on Thanksgiving. Over under here is 45.5. I am going to go under that. I think both defenses play well. It's a low scoring game. This one's at 4:30 on Fox. And then final game of the night, Thursday night game here, Patriots at the Vikings. We're all on Minnesota. They got to bounce back after that showing at home against the Cowboys. And the Patriots eking one out against the Jets there. I just think that the Vikings are the better team overall. The Patriots defense is very good, but I think the Vikings are going to be able to get them. The passing attack is going to be the difference for Minnesota, and the Vikings defense is going to get enough stops. Mac Jones, not that elite. So I think Minnesota can get this done at home here on Thanksgiving night. 2.5 here for Minnesota. I like that spread, and over under is 42.5. Again, I think it just goes just under. Maybe we get to 40 points, 38 to 40, something in that range, I think is going to be a nice number. So under 42.5 for me. And then this one is at 8:20 on NBC Thanksgiving night. Next Monday, not Tuesday, but next Monday, we will be back. Actually, it will be a Tuesday show. My bad. It will have to be a Tuesday show because I will not be available for a Monday show, flying back on Monday. But next Tuesday, we will be talking NFL Week 13, Week 12 closeout with the Monday night game, Steelers at the Colts, and the Week 13 kickoff, Patriots hosting the Bills. And as always, we will get you caught up with all the college football and NFL game recaps from the weekend, and have all the latest NFL news, injury-wise, and whatnot. Don't forget to follow us on all our social media, at FAA Podcast on Instagram, and Twitter at FAA_bets is our betting account. And then FAApodcast.com is our website. Make sure to go on there, check out our new Thanksgiving Day designs for this year. And again, I'll say this on Friday probably too, but happy Thanksgiving to everyone. I really appreciate it. Make sure you check us out here on YouTube, Facebook, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and iHeartRadio. Thank you all for watching.